الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين نحمده غير مقنوط من رحمته ولا محلو من نعمته ولا مأيوس من مغفرته ولا مستنكف عن عبادته ثم الصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطاهرين وصحبه المنتجبين. Praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of here and the hereafter. We praise Him, mindful that no one loses hope from Him and from His mercy. No one is deprived of His forgiveness, and no one is too high to submit and worship Him. We convey our greeting and salutation to the Holy Prophet of Islam and his pure progenies. Sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ibadullah, awsikum wa iyai bi taqwallah. قال الإمام الجعفر صلوات الله وسلامه عليه إمام جعفر الصادق ثلاثة من كن فيه فهو منافق وإن صام وصلى إذا حدث كذب وإذا وعد أخلف وإذا اؤتمن خان. Three characters or traits that once they come together in a person, that person is considered to be a munafiq or a hypocrite, even if that person were to fast and pray. Number one, when talks, they lie. And when promises, never honor their promises. And when there is no honor of their promises. And وَإِذَا وَعَدَ أَخْلَفَ. They give something and then they go against it. We start as usual with the reminder. Number one, it's become a cliche that please turn off your cell phone and refrain from conversation during the sermon. Please turn the cell phone off. Number two, on Sunday we will be commemorating the anniversary of the martyrdom of our sixth Imam, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq salawatullah salam alayhi. So I would like to take this opportunity and offer my condolence to everyone, specifically our living Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, for this occasion. Also, during this week, we witnessed the 32nd anniversary of the departure of Imam Khomeini rahmatullah alayh, the founder of the Islamic Revolution in Iran, in which changed the whole dynamics of the region. And it's not something that I understand, even the scholars are now talking about it and politicians. We also have heard now the ramification of Gaza, the departure of Netanyahu, and possibly the coming together of a new administration. How much this new administration is going to change the reality in Palestine, that's to be seen. We were hoping that the new administration after Trump is going to change something. Unfortunately, it's the same old, same old. There was a point, a political issue that attracted my attention, which I think this is something we need to pay attention to. We come from countries, I come from Iraq, and to read in the news that out of the budget, $20 billion disappeared this week. Another report comes out, another $15 billion disappeared next month. During the past year, probably 200 or 300 billions of dollars out of the budget have gone astray, and nobody cares, and nobody even brings someone to account. Most of you coming from Lebanon, the same situation. The Americans that admitted that they have given the previous Lebanese government $5 billion. What happened to them? Nobody knows. The Qataris gave Senora and others at least $2 billion. Just sank into the desert and disappeared. And others as well. Now, in the midst of all these colossal figures that we become used to, then suddenly a report comes out of Finland's prime minister, a young lady, 33, 34 years old, by the name of Sanna Marin. She agreed to pay back to the government. As a prime minister, she is entitled to €300 for breakfast and food and everything else during the month. She charged the government each month €850, which now she has to pay back, literally the difference over a year and a half, close to 2 years. It's a breath of fresh air. That humanity is not dead, that there are people, the concept of principles of ethics and morality still exist, and accountability, that there is, no matter who you are, the prime minister or anybody else, there is a budget. €350, you have spent more than that, give it back. And that person says, Sama'an wa ta'a. I'll write a check, and I'm going. And even further, she went further by saying that, well, from now onwards until the end of my administration, I'm not going to charge anything from the budget. I'll spend it from my own pocket. Ya let the politician in our country to come back and learn from these people. €350, charges $850, and she's taken to account. And she admits the fault, apologizes. In Japan, even they go further. The minister resigns. When was the last time we heard about our country, our ministers, whether it's oil minister or finance minister or anybody else resigning for misdemeanors? Well, we have to be prayerful that inshallah, the living Imam will come and justice prevails and people don't have to go all this kind of things. The hadith that I started with, it's part of a number of ahadith narrated from various Imams, particularly Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, clearly defining what has become problematic. And that is, who are the Shi'as? In the time where we have competing claims to being Shi'as. Everybody claims to be a Shia. And contesting ideas about the frame of Shi'ism. Imams struggle hard in the chaotic world that they lived in to clearly define who the Shi'as were. And we see this from literature coming out of Amir al-Mu'mineen's time, Imam Hassan's time, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir's time, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq's time, and continues the same. What we have, for example, a group of Shi'as go to Imam Rida alayhi salatu wassalam. There is a hadith. إِنَّ الرِّضَى جَفَى جَمَاعَةٌ مِّنَ الشِّيعَةِ وَحَجَبَهُمْ. A group of Shi'as wanted to meet him, and he refused to meet them. And finally, when he granted them a meeting, they complained, Ya ibn Rasulullah, we have been trying to come and visit you, but you kept postponing it. ما هذا الجفاء العظيم والاستخفاف بعد الحجاب. فقال لدعواكم أنكم شيعة أمير المؤمنين وأنتم في أكثر أعمالكم مخالفون. I delayed meeting you because you claim to be, profess to be following Shia of Amir al-Mu'mineen, of Ahlul Bayt. But your action speaks louder than what you claim. وأنتم في أكثر أعمالكم مخالفون ومقصرون وتتهاونون بعظيم حقوق إخوانكم في الدين وفي الله. When it comes to your responsibility towards your fellow members, I know some people may not be interested in the conversation, but if you can put your phone down and not send texts around, it will be helpful. Just remove the phone for the time being. Imam says, identifies one or two characters or traits. Not only you fall short of the value system that is known from Ahlul Bayt, but when it comes to your social responsibility towards others, you don't take it seriously. Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullah salamu alayhi, in another hadith, when a group of people began to follow him in Kufa, Imam became kind of strange, turned back and he said, من أنتم؟ فقالوا شيعتك يا أمير المؤمنين. فقال عليه السلام ما لي لا أرى عليكم سيماء الشيعة or سيماء التشيع. I don't see it in your face. Now, if we were to ask, since this is the anniversary of the martyrdom of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, salawatullah wa salamu alayhi, if we were to ask Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, well, we live in a contesting and problematic and chaotic world, and we are not, this issue is not new. In 1978, a seminar organized in London for the minorities, particularly Muslim minorities living in the West. The primary factor or theme that dominated the discourse at that time was how do we define ourselves as Muslims? Should we define ourselves based on the food, character, code of dress? Or should we define ourselves as Muslim based on value system that we have? Which one? Identity means set of values that we consider it to be close to our heart and we would like to be associated with, and through it to be distinguished with other people. Now, if you go to a meeting where you see latest system or latest models of BMWs, Mercedeses, and Jaguars, and all this parked one after the other, it gives you an image. This is the value system. If you go to another system and you see different things, that gives you the value system. So how do we define ourselves? That through that value distinguishes from others. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq comes up with a number of characteristics. The most famous hadith is the one that Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq advises Abdullah ibn Junda. إنما شيعتنا يعرفون بخصال شتى. I've picked up just synopsis of this hadith. Number one, بالسخاء والبذل للإخوان. So the first characteristics or trait is for them to be generous towards the charity and generosity towards the poor and the needy and less fortunate within the society. To be mindful that there is a verse in the Holy Quran, وَفِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ لِلسَّائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ. The wealth that you have, Allah has granted you, a portion of that wealth is for the poor and the needy. You can't claim to be Shi'at Ahlul Bayt if that portion is not given to them. And that's the least, the minimum that you can give. The second one, that شيعتنا لا يهرون حرير الحيوان ولا يطمعون طمع الغراب. They don't bite Others, they don't deal roughly like beasts with other people. And they are not as greedy as a crow. Deal with others with gentleness. قولوا للناس حسنا. ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة. So these verses, these hadith that comes out of Ahlul Bayt, they are informed by the verses of the Holy Quran. Third, لا يجاورون لنا عدوا ولا يسألون لنا مبغضا ولو ماتوا جوعا. They don't rely on others, even if they were they felt weak or they are dying. The idea that we rely on others for the sake of honor and dignity, and we trust them at the same time, and they happen to be against Ahlul Bayt, it's problematic. Normalization has become one of the issues. I'm glad to see the end of Trump and the end of Netanyahu, and now people who went for normalization with the Zionist state, wondering what to do now. They wanted the normalization to create image of dignity and honor for them. Now they are stuck in the middle. The verse in the Holy Quran, we forgot about it. وَلَا تَرْكَنُوا إِلَى الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا فَتَمَسَّكُمُ النَّارِ. Don't rely on those who are tyrants, because once you rely on them, the consequence is disaster. كذب والله. And then Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq tells Ibn Jundab, بلغ معاشر شيعتنا وقل لهم لا تذهبن بكم المذاهب فوالله لا تنال ولايتنا إلا بالورع والاجتهاد. Now, if we want to define identity based purely on claiming allegiance to Ahlul Bayt but not doing anything, this hadith and a number of other hadith clearly state that we are wrong. As the Christian, if I want to borrow this phrase from them, identity in Islam is value-based that has to be shown in the way you deal. It's a praxis-orientated. You have to practice it. If you claim to be a Shia, you don't pray. If you claim to be a Shia, you don't fast. If you claim to be a Shia, la samahallah, occasional intoxication. Even whether it's drink or hard drug or something else. Then we have a problem. Because Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq says, I'm proud when my true Shi'as walk out and they embody the values of Ahlul Bayt. So when other people see them, they say, these are Shi'at Ahlul Bayt, Shi'at Amir al-Mu'minin or Shi'at Ja'far ibn Muhammad. Not by the code of dress, not by the food that we eat, but the action, how we behave, how we deal with others. The same hadith comes out of Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, salawatullah salam alayh, who says to Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari, almost the same. أَيَكْتَفِي, Imam starts with a question. أَيَكْتَفِي مَنْ انْتَحَلَ التَّشَيُّعْ أَنْ يَقُولْ بِحُبِّنَا أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ فَوَاللَّهِ مَا شِيعَتُنَا إِلَّا مَنِ اتَّقَى اللَّهَ وَأَطَاعَهُ. You submit to the command of God, and you become God conscious, and you refrain from sinfulness. We just came out of the month of Ramadan just over a month ago. At the beginning, I made it clear, Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullah salam alayhi in khutbah Sha'baniyah asks the Holy Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, ma a'zamu al-a'mal fi shahr Ramadan? What's the most important? What did he respond? Ya Aba al-Hasan, a'zamu al-a'mal al-wara'u an maharimillah. To stay away from sinfulness. Shouldn't we, during these, as we commemorate the anniversary of the martyrdom of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, to step back and look at these values and see how close are we with being true Shias? Do we really care about these values? Do we support others? Do we tell lies? Do we backbite? Do we stab each other in the back? Do we consider our responsibilities seriously when it comes to others, etc., etc.? How close are we to these values that have been listed as the identity for the Shia? Only then we can claim exactly who we are. Even during khutbah, we constantly dealing with telephones, texts, and so on. We are present, we are at the same time we are absent. So, what's the problem? It's a unique mentality that we really need to change. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us in getting closer to the values that Ahlul Bayt have already outlined and listed for the Shias, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal-'asr, inna al-insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu as-salihat wa tawasaw bil-haqqi wa tawasaw bis-sabr. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين نحمده ونشكره ونستعينه ونتوب إليه من سيئات أعمالنا ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وخاتم النبيين محمد وعلى آله الطاهرين وصحبه المنتجبين. أخواتي وإخواني الأعزاء، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. عباد الله، أوصيكم وإياي بتقوى الله. روي عن الإمام جعفر بن محمد الصادق عليه الصلاة والسلام إنه قال: من أحب الأعمال إلى الله عز وجل إدخال السرور على المؤمن، إشباع جوعته وتنفيس كربته وقضاء دينه. نلتقي بعد يومين بذكرى وفاة الإمام جعفر الصادق صلوات الله وسلامه عليه، وهو الإمام السادس من أئمة أهل البيت عليهم السلام. تتميز حياة الإمام الصادق بأنها كانت رائعة في عطائها، حيث استطاع الإمام أن يغطي كل الواقع الإسلامي بالمسائل الفكرية العقيدية والفقهية، بل كان يتحرك في التنوعات التي عاشها الناس في المفاهيم المتصلة بحركة الإنسان وبالحياة. كانت الفترة التي عاشها الإمام جعفر الصادق من أشد وأقصى الفترات التي مرت بها الأمة الإسلامية، إذ شهدت تلك الفترة إضافة إلى انتقال السلطة بالسيف من الأمويين المتجبرين إلى العباسيين المتسلطين، الكثير من الفتن والحركات السياسية وتنازع الأهواء واضطراب الأفكار وظهور البدع وتلاطم الأمواج الظلم والإرهاب. فواجه إمام الصادق عليه الصلاة والسلام هذه الحياة اللي ملأها الانحراف والإجحاف والتعدي والظلم مواجهة علمية أدبية حوارية قائمة على أساس العقل والمنطق والكتاب والسنة. وحارب الإمام الصادق المذاهب المنحرفة بإظهاره سنة النبي الحقيقية والسعي لتأصيلها في القواعد الشيعية بكل قوة. فعندما ندرس مرحلة الإمام جعفر الصادق فإننا نستطيع أن نطلق عليها مرحلة تجديد الفكر الإسلامي وتفاصيله، فإننا نجد أن هناك إسلاماً يجيب عن كل أسئلة الإنسان، لأن الإمام الصادق كان يرى من موقع مسؤوليته الإمامية عن الإسلام إن من حق كل إنسان أن يسأل عن أي شيء، وكان الإمام كبقية أئمة أهل البيت يريد للإنسان أن يسأل دوماً حتى يتعلم. كانت حياة الإمام الصادق قدوة في كل شيء، فهو قدوة لطلابه يفيض عليهم من أنوار علمه، وهو قدوة للعالم، إذ لم يقعده الضغط السياسي الذي استعمله الحكام لإخضاع تلك الروح الكبيرة، ولكنها كانت أكبر من عروشهم. وهو قدوة للسياسي، فقد كان يجهر بالحق ويرشد الناس ويحذرهم من مخالطة الظلمة وينهى عن إعانتهم. لقد كان الإمام إمام الوحدة الإسلامية، فكان يريد للشيعة أن ينفتحوا على المذاهب الأخرى ولا ينعزلوا عنهم، وكان يقول: ما أيسر ما رضي به الناس عنكم، كفوا أنسلتكم عنهم، لأن الاختلاف لا يعالج بالسب واللعن والتشهير. أما إذا حاورته وتكلمت معه بالتي هي أحسن فإنك تلين قلبه وتدخل بالتالي إلى عقله. ودور المسلم أن يدعو إلى الإسلام على الصورة التي وصف الله تعالى بها نبيه: فبما رحمة من الله لنت لهم ولو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك. ولذلك فإن الإمام الصادق يشكل النموذج الأكمل للإنسان الذي يمثل القيادة والإمامة الإسلامية التي ترتفع بالناس إلى أعلى مستوى، والتي تشير إلى الناس أن يتقدموا ويأخذوا بأسباب العلم وينفتحوا على العقل كله. هذه هي رسالة أهل البيت، رسالة الإسلام التي يريدنا أن نرتفع حيث يرتفع الإسلام بأهله، وأن نتحرك عندما يريدنا الإسلام أن نتحرك في خط الدعوة إلى الله والخير والعدل والحق. تلك هي رسالتهم، وعلينا أن نرتفع معهم وبهم ونتعلم من علومهم. فهذا ما جاء في أحاديثهم: أحيوا أمرنا، رحم الله من أحيا أمرنا. قيل: يا ابن رسول الله، وكيف نحيي أمركم؟ قال: بأن تعلموا الناس علومنا وتنقلوا إليهم أحاديثنا ليحبوا من خلال ذلك إحياء أمرنا، هو إحياء علومنا وثقافتنا وروحانيتنا وأخلاقنا، وأن تكونوا صورة عنا أهل البيت، تمثلون الأخلاق. فإن الالتزام بالإمامة يفرض علينا أن نملك ثقافة رسالة الإمامة، أن نفهم الإمامة فكراً وحركة وانفتاحاً ومنهجاً، وأن نستعيدهم من الكتاب إلى الحياة، أن يتحركوا معنا ليشعر الإنسان المعاصر بأن أئمة أهل البيت ليسوا مجرد شخصيات في التاريخ طواها التاريخ، ولكنهم شخصيات يملكون قيادة الحاضر في منهجهم الفكري، وعلى الإنسان المعاصر أن يعرف أنهم أئمة الهدى الذين يهدون الناس إلى الحق في حياتهم وبعد وفاتهم. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يجعلنا وإياكم من المتمسكين بحبلهم والمتعلمين من مدرستهم إن شاء الله، إنه سميع مجيب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد أفضل ما صليت على أحد من خلقك، وصلى على أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين علي بن أبي طالب، وصلى على فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، وصلى على الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة، وصلى على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي، عجل الله تعالى فرجه وسهل مخرجه وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره والمستشهدين بين يديه إن شاء الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.